Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Joining us today is my great friend Rafi Farber from the Endgame Investor. Rafi, it's so great to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Yeah, you know how I wanted to get you on to talk about all the incredible things that's happening in the world, silver, gold markets, politics, everything. Let's start off with Trump's election. How do you think it's going to affect the economy and where are we going from here?
I'm really not sure how it's going to affect the economy. I think the economy itself is going to follow the monetary curve that we're on, which is exponential. So I don't really see the Trump Harris thing as effective on the economy. I'm not saying it's not going to be. I'm saying that's not
Right.
what I'm focusing on. Um, we have an end game to deal with. We have the collapse of the dollar to deal with. I don't think Trump is going to stop that. The way that I see it, though, and I'm not saying I'm definitely not against Trump. I'm not a Trump guy either. I'm not a MAGA guy.
Right.
I didn't vote, and I wasn't planning on voting, but we just had this conversation before, we started this
Right.
recording. I'm very happy. Let's say happy. I'm relieved. I'm relieved that Trump was elected, because it shows that there is some amount of liberty left in the United States, which is the core of liberty values in the world.
Right.
And the way I see it is, look, we're going to head into this end game. We're going to head into the collapse of the dollar. We're going to head into a banking crisis across the world. Trump's not going to stop that. But what he can do is preserve whatever is left of liberty as we head into that.
Right.
So that's what I think is going to happen. If what he's saying is true, and I don't know if he's going to follow through. Again, I'm not like a MAGA guy I'm not like a Trump fan
Right.
in terms of Trump, but if he does follow through with what he's been saying, that he will protect freedom of speech, he will protect social media from being censored by government, and he will preserve what is left of the First Amendment, and at least that, and especially if RFK is able to go into the medical arena and really clear out the corruption there, and I'll let you imagine what that means, and I
Yeah.
think you can understand. Then we can really clear out the worst of the corruption before we get into the banking crisis, and hopefully there's enough time to do that. Um, Obviously, like in a broader sense, I think Trump is better for the economy. But like, since I still know we're headed into that end game and that he's not going to stop it, it's not it's not like that. I'm happy that Trump is elected because I think stocks are going to go higher. I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
totally
Because
irrelevant.
the
I don't care.
fundamental issue is still there, no matter what president comes in. The
Yeah.
banking system, the ultimate print, the debasement of the dollar. Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah, he's
spot
he's
on.
not going to stop any of that. He
No,
can't stop any. The way that I put it to a friend of mine, I was talking to about this, is like Trump can't stop the inflationary process, right? Once
right.
you're on a fiat system, you can't stop it,
Exactly.
right? But what he can do, what he has the power to do, is stop the inflation from going into the most corrupt and worst sectors of the fake economy.
Are you seeking a secure, truly offshore solution to protect your wealth? Whether you're invested in gold, silver, or other precious metals, strategic wealth preservation is the strategic storage choice. Located in the Cayman Islands, SWP offers a state-of-the-art 6,000 square foot facility, purpose-built to safeguard your assets with unparalleled security and privacy. Why choose the Cayman Islands? This premier jurisdiction has zero taxes on stored precious metals, no reporting requirements, and complete peace of mind, making it the ideal solution for investors looking to diversify internationally. At SWP, your metals are fully segregated, allocated, and insured. You can buy online or in person. Plus, SWP has a dedicated logistics team that facilitates the global transportation of your precious metals from almost anywhere in the world. Learn more about SWP and how they can help secure your precious metals offshore. Visit swpcayman.com or call them today, and the link will be in the description below. Thanks.
Like
Right.
big pharma, like the war industrial complex. He can cut that off. The money's going to have to go somewhere else. Fine.
Right.
To keep the banks alive, but at least he can stop the worst of it before it explodes.
Like the bleeding. At least he can stop some of the bleeding before it
Yes.
goes out.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think then, Rafi's going to happen? I guess it wouldn't really matter then, the gold and silver. It's still going to go, it still has the same fundamentals, it still has the same trajectory. What would you think then? What would you think this means for the next 4 years for precious metals under Trump? Does it even matter? No, the fundamentals are still there.
I don't think it matters. Look,
Right.
it might be, and I don't know because I'm not a technical trader and I'm not going to be nitpicking. Is it going to take 2 months? Is it going to take 4 months? I don't think it's going to take 4 years. All right.
Right.
Could I be wrong about that? I can be wrong about anything.
Right.
Um, but it could be that Trump's election will have the dollar survive for, let's say, a few months more than it otherwise would have.
Right.
But like, what do I care? I don't care. Like in this world where I'm in, I see where we are. We're in like a much more important position. Like everyone alive right now, you, me, everyone watching this, anywhere in the world, we're in we're in a global political revolution right now.
Yeah.
And this is exciting as hell. It's scary. It's scary because we don't know where it's going to lead. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
We don't know who's going to be assassinated tomorrow, God forbid. We don't know what the deep state is going to do. But the deep state is under attack. The deep state that we all hate, it's really under attack right now. They couldn't stop Trump from being elected. And whatever you want to say about the deep state, they didn't want this guy elected. I'm not saying that he's going to succeed. He might fail.
Right.
But we see that there is a weakness. There's a weakness in the other side, and that's what's exciting me. So wherever we are, if the dollar survives for 3 or 4 more months, otherwise than it otherwise would, it's going down. The question is, how much liberty will we have at the point where it does collapse? Where will we
Yeah.
be as a culture? You in Canada, us in the United States, them in the United States, us in Israel. I don't know if Israel's going to be directly affected by this, or I don't know. I mean, all the
Right.
right wingers here say that it's going to be. I don't
Yeah.
know. But you know, America's still the core of the secular society here,
Right.
and they will call the shots on what's going to happen with the general relationship between government and people in this world.
Yeah, and I just seen a video of Trump himself speaking this morning, and he said he's gonna put in the same executive order he did in 2020, where he's gonna start firing all these bureaucrats in the White House and in the CIA and in the Deep Intelligence Agency, and he said he's just gonna start firing them on a massive scale like never seen before. Do you think like what do you think is gonna happen there, Rafi, when you start seeing? Like what you said, the deep state is under attack. They didn't want Trump to win. And now you have Trump just a video I seen today saying he's going to start firing everyone, all the bureaucrats in White House that's affecting that's affecting America.
Look, I don't know. I'm not a political analyst in this sense, but
Right.
what I am, the core of my being, really, I'm a religious man. I'm also a rationalist. It's like it's that's something that maybe Christian thinkers might not think goes together so well,
Right.
but that's my religious and rational upbringing. They come together. So look, the way that I see this is that Trump was elected in 2016. That was a weak spot in the deep state. But we didn't really know what was happening back then. You know, the whole thing in 2020 that I won't mention happened. It was a surprise to all of us how vicious it was.
Yeah.
And Trump went along with it. I mean, I don't deny
Yeah,
that.
he
I'm
did.
not a Trump. I'm not going to give him a pass on that.
Right,
And
right.
I will
He
say that that in my view, he lost 2020. Whether it was stolen from him or not, I'm not going to say an opinion on that. But he wasn't president from 2020 to 2024. I think as a punishment for what he did, and he allowed this whole new regime based on a disease to happen. He did not stop it. Now is his time to repent. And
right.
he can fight for what is left of freedom, what is left of liberty, and he better damn do it. Or
Yeah.
he is going to fit or his legacy will be destroyed. There's one quote that somebody said to me in synagogue yesterday, and he said to me like what the election now proves is that Trump is now as important as he always thought that he was.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And he's a bloviating, full of himself, pompous asshole, and I don't deny that either. But at least he's focused and he has a good team that
Right.
can tear down the evilest parts of society. And I hope that God gives him the strength to do it because
Yeah.
nobody else can right now. He's the
Yeah.
only man who can do it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think a huge thing too is the business with even with the illegals crossing the border and the trafficking and how he wants to stop that type of that business going on in the US. And I'm sure powerful people in cartels and in the deep state are I don't like you do not like that. They don't want that to end.
Yeah. They don't. Look, Trump is going to be in danger. He's
Right.
going after a lot of very powerful vested interests who have been sucking at the teat of inflation for decades,
Right.
right? And these people, if they get put out of power, they're going to be upset, and they have a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I hope he can protect himself. I hope he's got the right people on the inside, and he surrounds himself with the right people this time. He's going to upset a lot of people,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
and
it's it's
just
it's gonna
praying
be
for his
crazy.
safety.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Now, let's for gold and silver, like what advice would you give now with all the craziness in the world, economic instability? What would you give a new investor advice for entering the gold and silver markets right today?
Okay, so look, if you're if you're a new gold and silver investor, it doesn't mean you have to take all your assets and buy gold and silver all 100% in. Don't do that.
Right.
Like if you have 5%, go to 10. If you have 10%, go to 15 and don't even look at the price. It's not This is not a trading game. We're not trying to make dollars by buying gold and silver. We're preparing for what is inevitable, and what is inevitable is that the dollar will collapse, and when it does, the question is, where does the purchasing power go? It's not like when the
Right.
dollar collapses, it's not like, oh, all of a sudden all the wealth in the world collapses. All that happens is the people with the dollars, one day they thought they could buy X amount of wealth, and the next day they understand they can buy like a hundredth of that.
Right,
Like
right. Yeah.
that's what happened. But the wealth itself doesn't go anywhere.
Like the land is still there, the gold is still there.
You're right. All the wealth, all the real stuff, all the houses, all the cars, all the food, all the businesses, they still exist. Nothing
Right.
burned down.
Right.
The question is, who can buy it now? Is it going to be the people with the Bitcoin? Maybe some. Is it going to be people with the dollars? No.
No.
Is it going to be the people with real estate? A
Yeah.
little bit. But is it going to be but who's going to be able to buy the most? It's going to be the people with the most liquidity. And the question is, what is the most liquid commodity?
Gold and
It's
silver.
first of all silver, and then when there's no dollar, it's going to be silver, and then second of all, gold. That's what's going to be. So if you're a
Wow.
new investor, start with like 5%. Take some of your stock gains. The S&P is like near an all-time high, or whatever it is. Take some of your stock gains, get some physical gold and silver. Just a little bit. That's
Yeah.
all you need. You don't need to like convert everything. Just have
Yeah.
some.
Yeah, and especially in this day and age, and even if you study history going back thousands of years, I just feel like we're really at a point where maybe it could take 20, 30 years, 40 years, maybe the next 10 years, but I do see the US dollar collapsing very soon. It could be
Yeah,
10, 20
I
years, but
see
yeah.
it. I see it in the next few months.
Yeah,
And look, I know that I've been saying that for a while, but I can only be honest with what I actually see.
right. The
You know,
instability.
yeah, the entire world is incredibly unstable right now. If grown men and grown women are acting like babies, they're acting totally insane. They've been
Yeah.
acting totally insane for many years. And like how much more, like, if we forget about the financial situation just for a second, like how
Hmm.
much more of people acting this crazy can can this generation take before just losing their grip on reality?
Yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
kids. Think about 11, 12, 13-year-old kids and what they're seeing now. And they're going to grow up, they're going to be 20, 25 years old in, 7, 8 years. And how are they going to relate to the world? I mean,
Yeah.
it's things have to calm down, which means the inflation has to end, which means we got to get back to some kind of balance, which means we have to go through a collapse.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part that I think people don't understand that you need that. I think you need that collapse in order for a reset to happen and go back to some normalcy or anything.
Yeah, and it's going to be painful, but when it's over, will all breathe a huge sigh of relief.
But will there still be central banks and still be the fiat money system? They'll just convert to digital after this collapse?
No, no, that's
No.
not going to happen.
Wow.
I don't think there will be central banks because the reset means what are these central banks filled with? They're filled with each other's currencies. It's just a giant circle jerk of currencies. You
Right.
know,
Right.
just to be vulgar about it, that's what it is.
Right.
And each of them have a little bit of gold, but what are they going to do with their gold? We know what they're going to do with their gold because we've seen what Turkey does with it. We've seen all these central banks that are buying so much gold. What do? They buy it and they sell it to try to level out their currencies. They don't
Yeah.
see gold as the thing that they want. They want to stabilize the value of their currencies, so they buy gold when it's stronger and they sell gold when it's weaker. They're using gold as some kind of like perverted mechanism to stabilize the value of their currencies, and it's not going to work. So they're going
Canada
to sell
Canada
all their
sold
gold to
all
all of us.
Yeah, Canada sold all of its gold. Like not even I think it was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they sold all of its gold. Tons and tons and tons of gold, thousands of tons all sold.
I mean, that's scary for your currency, but
Right.
it's also encouraging if you have gold and silver that you know that the people that have the guys that have only Canadian dollars, including the government itself, which is led by Trudeau, one of the most disgusting people on the planet,
Right.
he's going to be broke, and he might not survive this end game. He might be abused.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, no, I totally agree. You've nailed it, Rafi. Every time you come on, it's so great. You put a smile on my face because of everything that we talk about. I guess what we would end it off with, where could people connect with you? I'm going to put your links in the description below, the Endgame Investor, but where can people connect with you in general?
Yeah, check out my Substack, Endgame Investor at Substack. You can check out my YouTube channel, Rafi Farber on YouTube. You can also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/endgameinvestor, where I give a religious angle on my monetary philosophical thoughts, which is, probably not something you hear about every day, but
Yeah.
that's what I do. That's what I like doing. And some of it's in Aramaic, which we just had, a vocabulary discussion between you and me.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think we
that's
both know some
beautiful.
Aramaic. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I highly encourage everyone to please go follow Rafi on all the social media links. I'm gonna put them below. Thank you everyone for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. And yeah, Rafi, thank you again. Such a huge pleasure.
Thanks, Ivan.
Talk to you soon.